What's the most points you ever scored in an All-Star game? 18, 19? Now, come on, now, don't play like, huh?
About 20 points. I'm not sure, Brent.
Oh, sure. All right.
I didn't win the MVP trophy, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I wasn't there. I'd have voted for you then. Here's David Thompson and Maurice Lucas now. McGinnis takes Maurice. Two strong players. Turnaround move by Maurice, and there's Dr. J with the board. Give it up now to Phil Chenier of Washington. Chenier going to go all the way. Laid it up pretty. Oh, Lanier goes down. Is he okay? He's all right.
He tripped over those size 22 feet of his.
How's the floor out there? All right, Westphal now. Oh, Julius cut off David Thompson. Pretty defense inside. And speaking of defense, Gervin was there on Phil Smith. Gervin takes it back, leads McGinnis. Couldn't hold on to the ball. Was thinking about shooting it before he had control. So back now comes the West. It's 42-33. 8:43 to the half. Pretty play by Westphal. Boys, he got strong inside moves for a guard.
Oh, Westphal is almost unstoppable because he's able to go with his left hand, his right hand, and being ambidextrous has really helped his game.
Really, that's 8 points for him. All fine plays. He can turn 360. Remember that triple overtime in the Boston Garden last year in the championship series. And the shot clock a factor, and there he is again. Westphal with a steal. Comes up on Chenier. How's that for one-on-one basketball?
Isn't that beautiful? Well, that's why they're here. They're all the great all-stars in basketball today.
An all-star move by Westphal. 42-37. West got something going. Here's Westphal, takes it from Lucas, and it draws it to 42-39. 6 straight points for Westphal, 12 for the game. So Westphal makes a move on the MVP award here in Milwaukee. McAdoo with the ball on the floor. Lanier is there. Big Mac, great outside shooter. Now the New York Knicks won 3 straight scoring titles. He's only a baby, 25 years old. I wish he'd sell me some stock in himself. He's going to make a mint. Smith saves it, and there's Lanier. Now it's Thompson. Oh, Maurice left alone. Lanier went up after the miss. George Gervin of San Antonio control. Here's Dr. J of Philadelphia. Paul Westphal with a play inside. McAdoo offensive, and he put it down. 46-39.
That was some move by Julius Erving to get open.
Knocked away from Thompson, and there's contact.
I got 30.
So the foul now
30 hits.
as Rick Berry
Second personal.
checks in. McGinnis drawing his second personal. And now Kareem comes back in. Slides into his protective goggles.
It doesn't look like Larry Brown, the coach of the West, is going to go very much more with Issel because Dan played the first few minutes and seems like he's going to go with Lanier and Jabbar.
Thompson comes around. Rick Berry inside Westphal. George Gervin. Good rebounder for guard. He can also play forward for you. Chenier. 48-39 and 6 minutes and 47 seconds for the half. Then it'll be Red Auerbach, Jimmy the Greek. The finals of the Pepsi Hot Shot Contest coming live. Baseline move by Westphal, who gave it to Kareem. Kareem went back in and turn it over. He traveled as he made his move. Misuse of the dribble. Kareem arguing a bit. Elvin Hayes with 10 points. Two up on everybody. Pressure in the backcourt from David Thompson of the West. Paul Westphal, Abdul-Jabbar, Bobby Jones is back. He'll work with Rick Berry, and here's Chenier. Had the pass deflected by Kareem. Gervin was there. Erving taken away by David Thompson. Westphal's ahead of him. It's 3-on-1, and Thompson flies to the basket.
He left the ground at the foul line and just slided in there.
Looks like a jet taking off.
We see the West has come out now, and they're playing very aggressive defense, double teaming whenever they have the opportunity.
Trail by 7, Billy, with 5:59 to go in the first half. Thompson is fronting Erving. So McAdoo goes one-on-one and drives around Kareem.
It's just an outstanding move there by McAdoo, going to his left and move.
On the turnover, it's the doctor off his leg and out of bounds. And there's the commissioner, Larry O'Brien, in the middle of our 2 leaders. That's Barry Frank, the head of sports for CBS on the left, and of course the president of the CBS network, Bob Wussler, who just turned into your view there. He is on Larry O'Brien's left. Larry is talking to Bob. Oh, things are going good on the NBA. All the bosses show up at the All-Star game. Julius now with a rebound. Here comes the East. Pistol Pete Maravich in New Orleans. McAdoo off his leg and out of bounds. 50-41. We may have set a record for turnovers in the first half of an all-star game.
Well,
Westphal leading everybody.
One of the reasons for that, Brent, is that the players are not that familiar with each other, not playing day in and day out.
Kareem made an inside move and drew the foul. He was in the act of shooting, so he'll come up to the line.
Second personal foul. Second team.
That was an artsy replay that you were looking at. That wasn't a mistake by any of the technicians in the truck. Here's Kareem now at the line. Did you see him take a little snooze during warm-ups out here on the floor as Danny Issel watches?
He was meditating.
I think he was. Helped him there at the line, didn't it? 50-43. 7-point difference right now. The West came in favored by 3, and it's 5-12. Oh, pretty play by Westphal. McGinnis retrieves it. Paul Westphal having a very strong first half. McGinnis. Oh. Let's give that one to Dr. J. Westphal pushes it down the right side.
52-43.
Comes into the middle, and here's Thompson now up over Doug Collins. Off iron. Fast-breaking team on the floor for the East. Collins through Julius. Oh! He has been waiting for that slam dunk all game long.
He said hello to Kareem.
Oh, my. Here is Kareem, knocked away by McGinnis. Here's Barry. Go ahead, Kareem. Takes it easy. Oh, I want to see this one again myself.
Here's a fine pass by Collins, and here he comes. Watch this move right here.
I told Dr. J, put up 10 grand and challenge the winner of the slam dunk. Winner take all. He says, get Don King to promote it. I'll be there. All right, here's Doug Collins. Gives it out of McAdoo.
The unit in right now for the East has played very well together. One of the main reasons is there's 3 76ers in there, so they're used to each other's style of play.
Here's Kareem of the Los Angeles Lakers. 3:54, 56-47. The East All-Stars in the green and the West in the white. Maravich and Collins in the East backcourt for Gene Shue. Larry Brown, the West coach, calling the shots. Oh, Dr. J.
That was an outstanding play. We saw 2 players that play together and know how to communicate. Doug Collins Doug Collins making that fine pass to Julius.
And Rick Barry, a very smart basketball player, got down quickly because he knew that Julius was going to have trouble coming back from that on the defensive end, and Barry got the hoop. And Barry is underneath now with the miss. You talk about intelligent basketball players. Start with Rick Barry. Knocked away by Maravich, and that time, just as I say that, Rick, you make a terrible pass.
He did that because he's a good friend of yours.
I think so. He made me look so bad out there. All right, there's the pearl for the New York Knicks checking back in. Elvin Hayes, Rudy T. You know, there are 3 players who have played in 7 All-Star games who are not with us today. Walt Frazier, Dave Bing, and Nate Thurmond. And, of course, coming next on CBS, the Nation's Challenge Cup. That skiing competition, the finest skiers in the world.
I know why you brought that up about the 3 players, because I didn't know the answer yesterday.
Abdul-Jabbar, and here is Billy Knight. Listen, I hope Nate Thurmond is able to come back after that serious knee injury. Boy, Cleveland's going to miss him. Barry with a miss, and Kareem battles off Monroe, so it'll go back to the West.
You know, talking about Nate Thurmond.
Here is Michael Burke. He, of course, heads up the New York Knicks. The East has turned it over 12-10. East being out-rebounded by 1, and yet they're up 58-49. Kareem. And Rudy T with control for the East. JoJo White of the Boston Celtics across the Monroe. Quickly now to Elvin Hayes. 10 points for the game. And 12. It's time Janovich had to pull his hand away. Almost basket interference at that end.
Great basketball by Elvin. He made Jabbar change his shot, got down the other end quickly, and got the hoop.
Taken away by a Havlicek, and foul is called on Elvin Hayes, according to Earl Strom. Said you were all over Kareem. Bill Smith checks back in. Guard from Al Addo's Golden State Warriors. Pete Maravich of the East All-Stars. Needs a bodyguard over there, I guess. Watching the action. Here now is Kareem outside.
You're not supposed to do those type of things. Big men are supposed to be inside.
Supposed to roll that sky hook up there. Here's Elvin leading the East scores. Earl. Pretty shot, 62-51.
Under 2 minutes in the period.
You can hear the PA announcement as we slide under 2 minutes here in the Milwaukee Arena. It is sold out. The weather has been rather nice here the last couple of days. Not nearly as bitter as it has been in the Midwest this winter. Green backs in. There's the hook. And drew the contact with that play, too. You know, speaking of Nate Thurman and the Cleveland Cavaliers, this is the third All-Star game that I have broadcast for CBS. And I find it a shame that the Cavaliers don't have a player represented. That's been such a good team that anyone, Jim Clemens, their floor leader, Jim Jones, the center, just someone. They get so many people out there in that arena. They should stuff the ballot box like they did in Denver and Philadelphia. Get out the vote.
You're right, Brent. They have a great team, and they're definitely contenders for the NBA title this year.
Tight shot of Kareem. You saw Bob McAdoo, who was checked back in. And here is Danny Issel. Norm Van Leer is out there. Billy Knight.
What they'll do, the West now, is they'll move Issel to the forward position.
And he pulled down that rebound and went back up. Rudy T knocks it out, and there is Phil Smith. So the West with a chance for a field goal, and it is going to be an easy one by Kareem. Havlicek was fronted by Knight. Didn't have good vision that time. The East will take it out of bounds. 62-54, 128 for the half. Red Auerbach, Jimmy the Greek, and some great youngsters at halftime.
I'm looking forward to the second half because now the coaches have played everyone. Now they can go into the locker room, prepare the team for the second half with one concern, that's to win.
Exactly what both coaches said they were going to do yesterday at practice, too, Billy. Monroe with a miss, and it went back in, and Rudy T was over there. He'll get credit for it. 64-54, 10-point spread right now. 113, Phil Smith. Nice control in the air that time. Avoided the block, pumped it in. He brought his mother and father here from San Francisco. His father, a great basketball fan. Bob McAdoo, right baseline. Rudy T again.
Well, we're seeing an example. Dan Issel hasn't played any forward this year, playing the center position. He's very unfamiliar playing a forward defensively.
Rudy T gives it up to Monroe. Quickly on the right side, inside to Havlicek. A little turnaround. Now the West will come back. 34 seconds. 10-point spread right now. West is trailed all the way. Van Leer hits the open man Smith. McAdoo came out. Smith hit it anyway. Now last shot time. Rudy T signals it. See if they use up all the time. 17. You can watch it count down yourself. 58 points right now for the West. They trail it by 8. Kareem jumped out there, didn't he, on JoJo? Now JoJo drives in, and there's Havlicek. That's a Boston Celtic play with time running out, isn't it?
For 15 years he's been doing that.
Here we go, second half. Westphal to David Thompson of the West. In the white now, Maurice Lucas. The first shot, battles back. That's his tremendous strength. That's how helpful he has been to Bill Walton of the Portland Trail Blazers this year. Here's Paul Westphal of the Phoenix Suns with that pretty inside move. And Lucas trying to ram it home and couldn't. Right now, the West is just controlling the game, and Westphal, left alone at the right baseline, puts it in. Make it an 8-point East lead, 68-60.
Right now, the West has the big advantage on the backboards, whereas when we started the game, it was in favor of the East.
George McGinnis, inside pass, pretty defensive play by Lanier, retrieved by Maravich, air ball. Here comes the West quickly. Now they can make it a 6-point game if they can convert. McAdoo was in the passing lane. George McGinnis of Philadelphia checks for trouble. It was deflected. Doug Collins retrieves it at the sideline. Off iron. Lanier was up there with McGinnis. Off now, Doug Collins. It'll go to the West. Norm Van Leer, the Chicago Bulls, working with Paul Westphal of the Phoenix Suns, the starting guards, as voted by the fans. Cut off by Erving with a pretty defensive play. Oh, did you see the body control past the Maravich? Here comes Big Mac. Now, back comes the East. Up by 10 again, 70-60.
We just saw what a great advantage McAdoo has over most of the centers he plays against. He's able to run on the break so well.
Erving, outlet pass, Maravich, and David Thompson almost got back with a sensational play. And a good baseball pass by Erving, wasn't it?
Anybody that says that these players don't care if they win or lose, you saw an example there by David Thompson.
And scoring. Goaltending on Dr. J. There it is. Lanier.
Look at Julius. Well, good call by the ref there.
McGinnis waits for his teammate Doug Collins. McAdoo went inside to Dr. J, who drew the foul. So it's against David Thompson. The Denver Nuggets.
We'll see Julius try and take David as much as possible down low because he has such a size advantage.
Erving with a tremendous hand. Look what he can do to a basketball. Come up, use glass. Lanier is there. Outlet to David. Maravich was there. And here comes Dr. J. Had trouble controlling the ball. Out of bounds it goes.
That was a case of Julius just trying a little too hard.
Now the West comes back, trailing by 10 points early in the third quarter. They have been behind all the way. David Thompson. Now it's an 8-point game. Collins kept over to the sideline by Van Leer. That's what Larry Brown wanted to do. Westphal blocked the shot attempt by Maravich. A special all-star program, a Leroy Neiman cover, and you can get your copy by sending a check or a money order for $3 to the Milwaukee Bucks, Post Office Box B901, Milwaukee, Wisconsin 53201. $3 for that program. Leroy Neiman is on hand here this afternoon watching the action, and there he is, probably doing a little work down there in the corner. He has got such a beautiful pen with him, though. I don't know if he's ever got time to concentrate on his artwork. All right, from the Banana Belt, place where it's been warm this winter, Dr. J, and Lanier was there. Back now comes the West. Van Leer drives. And it is now a 6-point East lead with 9:18. They are creeping back. Here's Maravich, gets free, deflected away, retrieves it. Jay was open. McAdoo outside. Julius is there. Inside move on Lanier. Comes underneath. Muscles his way outside. Off his leg. McGinnis. McAdoo goes back up. Retrieved by the smallest man on either team, Van Leer. And here comes David Thompson. Gives it down to Maurice Lucas. Now it's 4.
I'd hate to get my hand in the way when he did that.
And Maravich just threw it up over Lanier, didn't he? Now the West comes back.
He works on that shot, friend. I saw him in practice yesterday working on that. Yep.
Here's Thompson. On to drive baseline. Julius got there first. Lanier with muscle. 74-70. I'm not going to tell anybody, Billy, that Lanier was my pregame candidate for MVP. I don't want to, upset him at all. Here's Maravich giving it to McGinnis. Maurice yells for a switch. David Thompson on the switch. Working against the shot clock. And they'll go the other way. Offense is the call against Dr. J.
Now we see the East standing around, dribbling the ball, whereas in the first half, this unit was moving the ball very well. Now here's Lucas getting position. Julius on that play right there should have taken the jump shot.
This is the closest the West has been since early in the first quarter. It is 74-72, a 2-point game.
In the last game, Lucas had 41 points against Atlanta.
It was last tied at 4. Right now the East leading it by a field goal. Good pass by McAdoo to Erving. Score it, and there's a foul.
That was fine movement of the ball here. We'll see a fine pass by McAdoo to Erving. Beautiful play.
Maravich is over checking with the East coach, Gene Shue, of the Philadelphia 76ers. His assistant, Jack McMahon. He was kidding Jack yesterday. He said Jack had to design all the plays for these guys. Free throw is good, so it's a 77-72 lead now, by 5. 7:30 to go in the third quarter. Here's David Thompson of Denver. Maurice Lucas giving him a pick. McGinnis comes over. They give it back as Lucas rolls off the pick. At home. Lanier has retrieved it inside to David. McGinnis is there and fouled him.
There's quite a bit of contact on that play.
David and Goliath going up.
George, get a hold of him. I'd hate that George hit me anytime, especially being in the air.
250. Thompson. More votes than any All-Star in in this game. Hey, don't take the vote away from the fans. It's their game, and I hope they enjoy it.
What did that remind you of, though, seeing Thompson getting hit in the air?
North Carolina State, Pittsburgh. NCAA action down on his head. Collins outside. Erving goes for it. Retrieves it now. Big Mac had the open man, Collins, but Doug got in a little too close, out of bounds now. There is the NFL championship ring. Bob Long, former player with the Green Bay Packers, watching this action. Maravich in the passing lane with the interception. Walks now to Big George McGinnis. Waits for Lucas to get back. The West starting to talk on defense now, yelling switches as these two teams are getting together. Maravich. 79-73, a 6-point each lead and 6:40 to go first half.
First half of this game was not a physical game. Now it's turned into a very, very physical game.
There is McGinnis on the deflection to Doug. Collins now to Maravich. Up a little too high on the attempted layup as he was avoiding Westphal. Now Van Leer. Pull up pass to Lucas. Turn around. Won't go. They'll come the other way. Offensive foul against Maurice. We're back in the east and the green. Moving to the left. Maravich with control. Coming up on Phil Smith. Rick Barry switches off. The two Golden State Warriors on the floor now for Larry Brown. Collins goes back to Pisco. 81-73. Wiley, what about the philosophies of Gene Shue and Larry Brown?
Well, quite different. Both very successful. Obviously, the coaches here at the All-Star game. But Gene Shue feels he must isolate himself from his players. Larry Brown very close to all his players.
Rick Barry drew the foul as he muscled back up at the glass. Sellout crowd in the Milwaukee arena. I've had some basketball men tell me that Larry Brown has done one of the fine jobs of coaching in this league in the first half of the season. There are some people who do not believe that that team's that good. Barry, a 90% free throw shooter. Put a blindfold on him. He can hit him.
Larry's type of offense and defense that he has for Denver is perfect. It complements all his ball players.
Oh, great. Collins without the basketball. That's his strength. Westphal sensed it and got back. Julius just bouncing it to him.
Well, there's one of the advantages when you're in an all-star game playing with one of your teammates. The timing was perfect.
George Gervin and Phil Chenier check in. Let's see, we had 3 starters from Philadelphia, 3 from Denver. You know, Billy, if Gerald Ford had been backed by the basketball fans in Philadelphia and Denver, he'd still be president.
That's right.
There's Erving. Erving again. All green at the glass. $1,000 to each member of the winning team and $650 to each loser. Turnover. Barry thought Smith was going to come on through the baseline. 83-75. John Havlicek in his 12th NBA All-Star game. And Don Boozy in his first. From the Indiana Pacers. There's Elvin Hayes. Knocked away by Boozy. Hey, he is right there where the action is, isn't he? Comes back. Good pass to Lanier. Drove right in. Hayes called for a foul and says, come on.
Boozy reminds me so much of Van Leer. Guys that just go out there every night and do their job, work hard, sacrifice for their team. Just great players to have on your team.
I now know why Elvin was yelling so loud. That's 4 personals on him.
And he realizes he has a chance for MVP.
It's trophy time, and Elvin's got to go to the bench. Here's Bob McAdoo.
Gene Shue also has a big advantage in this game, I think, over Larry Brown. He has coached at some time or another 6 players on the East team. Earl Monroe when he played in Baltimore, Elvin Hayes with the Washington team, and also Phil Chenier.
Very good point, because that can really matter when you want one player for a specific task if you know his talents. Here's George Gervin and McAdoo and Red Auerbach and Irv Levin, who yesterday became the chairman of the Board of Governors of the NBA. So congratulations to Irv, who controls the Boston Celtics. Havlicek sticks with Rick off the weave. It's Boozy. I'm impressed. Here comes Phil Chenier. It's 85-79 right now, a 6-point East lead. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar kneels down, a stir in the crowd. Billy Knight will join him. McAdoo gets it back to Chenier. Lanier. Outlet now to Boozy. Get Boozy check over the placement on the floor. Bobby Jones to Phil Smith.
You know, if you gave a scouting report on Boosie, you'd have to say not too quick, poor range shooting, just almost be negative, but he has one problem. He's a winner.
That's right. Here's Barry. Checked behind, wanted the foul, didn't he?
Yes. It looked like Rick did draw that foul.
There's two of our announcers, Jerry Gross and Lenny Wilkins. Wilkins, of course, the former coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. Watching the action, turnover now. 85-83. Here's Barry. Give it up to Phil Smith, who can tie it. In and out. Lanier got a hand on it. Boosie now to Phil Smith. Go fresh 24. Rick now to Boosie. Tie. Come alive in Milwaukee, 3:40. Last tied at 10:14 of the first quarter. So with 3:30 to go, the West is climbed back into it. McAdoo can't regain the lead. Here's Phil Smith. Outlet pass to Lanier. Lanier checks the right side. Chenier with a hand on it. Boosie right there. Give it to Jones. Bob McAdoo controls defensively. Barry cuts him off. They can't get the break going. Now, George Gervin of the San Antonio Spurs comes down on Smith. Contact.
Brent, you hit on a big key. In the first half, the East was able to run, and that's why they shot an excellent 56% from the floor. The second half, they haven't been able to do that.
There's Gary Bender, another one of our NBA announcers here. See, he used to work up in the Milwaukee and Madison area. Big favorite here in the state of Wisconsin. One of our great salesmen, Bob Bonagura. With him, Rudy T with a miss, and Phil Smith with control. Smith now checks the floor. We're tied at 85. 2:58 for the third. Kareem with 17 points back in. Lanier taking a break. McAdoo's got Kareem, rolls the hook. Couldn't get the lead for the West. Rudy T off to Chenier. Boosie now calls out instructions on the defensive end. He'll take Chenier, and here's Havlicek. Now we got McAdoo wants the baseline. Gave it back to George Gervin.
You got it, Kareem.
Abdul-Jabbar with an easy rebound. Boosie with control. Spots Billy Knight, his teammate from Indiana. And Knight hits it, and the West goes ahead. 87, 85, and 2:25 in the third. Lead has changed hands 11. Boosie with anticipation just couldn't come away with a steal. Rudy T. Now it is Billy Knight. Back to Phil Smith. Phil Smith pulls up. McAdoo as the East will try to tie it. Did you say Boosie cut off that passing lane? It was Boosie up here who forced it. And here's Barry at the 4-point West lead.
Boosie has changed the whole tempo of this ball game.
Leading the NBA in steals and assists, and already 2 today for Indiana's Don Boosie. And he has changed things up here. It's 89-85. West ahead of the East. Maravich is cut off inside. He's being fronted right now on a mismatch. And on the turnover, the West will come right back down, so the West All-Stars are digging in. Maravich and McGinnis have stolen the ball 4 times apiece for the East. So Gervin, Chenier, Havlicek, McAdoo, and Rudy T. Their lead, 91-85, 134. And the West playing with some intensity right now in the third quarter, and they have taken charge. Chenier responds. Great outside shooter, the Washington Bulls. Boy, under Mata's system, when you got a guard who can shoot as well as Elvin Hayes, you got something. Take the shot clock down to 3, and then Jackson's going to score. Whistle underneath. Contact on the hole, McAdoo. And there is the coach of the defending NBA champions, Tommy Heinsohn. He is also an artist. It's Leroy Neiman with the cover this year. Tommy Heinsohn next. Kareem looks inside. Rick Barry. Oh, Chenier got up above Phil Smith. Wanted Havlicek. Billy Knight of Indiana was there with the interception. Phil Smith of Golden State cross-court to his teammate. Barry taps it back. Boosie goes to him. Barry for the corner third.
Is that beautiful basketball?
93-87. Inside of 50 seconds right now. What a spurt here by the West in the third quarter. Havlicek. Boosie there on the steal. Wanted Knight, who was tripped up and went down. Did he have control? Was he there in the backcourt?
That'll be a 2-shot foul because they did have possession of the ball, even though Billy Knight
right.
did.
The team had it, of course, Billy. Sure. So Knight will come up to the free throw line.
Well, we see the East right now. They're standing around. They're not able to run. They're going to have to regroup and come back out here in this fourth quarter and get it going. This game changes so quickly. There's so much talent out here. It can change from 1 minute to the next.
Really, speaking of talent, 10 points in the quarter for Rick Berry already. Bobby
Quiet
Jones.
points, too.
Knight adds the free throw. 35 seconds, 95-87 right now. The West in command. George Gervin of San Antonio. There was Knight. You don't notice Knight, but he gets it done. Oh, Jones is open, and Boozy found him. And assist. Hey, he sees everything. Now, Gervin around a McAdoo screen. Gervin in too far, out of bounds. Hit last now by Jones. So it'll go to the east. That's the time remaining. Right-hand corner.
All the ABA fans were glad to see that last basket.
McAdoo can hit him from any place. 97-89. Last 3 seconds. Jones tosses it up. Kareem. So we come to the end of 3 quarters. Mark it down that the West has overcome a 10-point halftime deficit. 97-89. Final 12. And Smith was there. Jump ball as Hayes came back on him. Let me set the 10 players out there now. It's going to be important as the East will attempt to make it 3 victories in a row. Hayes of Washington, White of Boston, Monroe of New York, McGinnis and Erving of Philadelphia on the floor as Gene Shue suddenly finds himself behind. White knocked away by Kareem, but that's goaltending, so give him the hoop. Now Boozy, who has come on so strongly here for the West, added to this team because of the injury to Bill Walton, demonstrating to one and all that he deserved in the first place to be here. Kareem was backing into Hayes, and there was a push underneath. That's 5 fouls, and McAdoo will come in.
They're really going to miss Elvin because Elvin plays a little more physical than McAdoo does. And if Jabbar just gets the ball and rolls to the basket, he'll be shooting layups or the easy skyhook for himself.
The East now will have to drop back and sag its defense. A reminder of what's coming up next on CBS Skiing Championship.
That's a great picture there. We can see how the defense is. Look at Julius Erving right in the middle there, zoning the play.
Kept away by Julius on the miss by Berry. JoJo pushing it. Now McGinnis. Outside Erving it skied. Abdul-Jabbar was there. And here's Rick Berry against the Pearl. And Rick drew the foul. And Earl not so sure. He thought he had timed that in perfectly.
Well, here's the play. Take a look at it. What do you think, Brent?
I thought it was a beautiful defensive play by Earl Monroe.
I did, too. If that was a regular season game, I'm sure that Earl would have gotten a technical foul.
Or Red Holzman.
Or both.
Or Danny Whalen or somebody on the Knicks bench. Here's Berry. 99-91. 11:04. Hope you're enjoying this all-star action from Milwaukee. I'm Brent Musburger with Billy Cunningham, and CBS is pleased to be here. Boozy tapped it back to McAdoo. Off McGinnis inside and out of bounds, but it'll go to the east. Touched last by the West. 8-point difference right now. The intensity of Rick Berry. Once was an MVP in an all-star game. Had 24 points in San Francisco. McAdoo squeezes the trigger, forced one off. Drove back in, loose ball. Knight of Indiana upward. One hands it to his teammate. Back to Knight at the line. And McGinnis couldn't control it even though he was there. Knight came back, threw off a fancy hook shot. Kareem, free throw for the big guy. Off fire now, and it's the East. 10-27. Ball did everything but go in the basket. Pearl gives it up now. JoJo. Abdul-Jabbar came out on him. McGinnis and Erving are there, and Erving will get the hoop. Make it now a 6-point game and 10-15.
This pace has really picked up since the start of the fourth quarter.
And don't forget, next Sunday, a full schedule of regionalized NBA games coming your way on CBS. There you can see that lineup. Cleveland Cavaliers, take a look at them without Nate Thurmond. New Orleans at San Antonio. Los Angeles, without Kermit Washington. What a shame that was to see that he's been lost for the year. And then, of course, the doubleheader game. After those 4 regional games, Boston at Golden State. We're going to see just how the Celtics are coming along. What about Sidney Wicks? Is he doing better now that he's coming off the bench? We'll see next Sunday. Abdul-Jabbar left alone. Make it 101-93. Dan Issel is in there at forward along with David Thompson. Paul Westphal and Phil Smith are the West guards. 9:48 to play. White, McGinnis, McAdoo, Monroe, and Erving are on the floor for the East. That's Julius yelling instructions, and I guess it was go to the hoop, Big Bob.
That was good coaching by Julius.
Wasn't that great? 195. Issel wants Kareem. He nods his head, I'm ready. Knocked away. Julius came out. They're going to have to double team the big guy. David Thompson straight up in the air. 103.95. Monroe puts a spin on Smith. Bounced it back to Big Bob McAdoo, his teammate on the Knicks. Here's McAdoo again. Erving was there, but it was knocked out of bounds. It goes to the West. Yes, that was a good call. I agree.
McAdoo has his hands full right now playing Jabbar. One time he fronted him. They threw the lob, and he got the easy basket. Now he's playing behind him, and he's in trouble.
He's going to have to worry about his defense right now more than his offense. Kareem comes up over him, and there's McGinnis. Now the quick outlet pass. East got a chance for some shoe-like pressure right here. Monroe at the line.
You know who made that play possible? Julius Erving, by running the length of the court and enabling Earl to get that easy shot.
So important for that forward on the wing to come flying. Guys like Havlicek and Berry have done it. And that's what Billy Cunningham's talking about. Bob McAdoo with problems inside. 105.97. 8:20 to go. McGinnis starts a drive. Has to hold up. And David Thompson stepped over with the steal on the pass back. Now David gets free. Julius is there. Thompson right straight up. And it is McAdoo with control. And here's the doctor. Smith and Kareem are there. Smith had a hand on him as he came down. And he drew the foul. They didn't want another one of those sky moves by the doctor that time.
Kareem was waiting for him that time, though.
He sure was, wasn't it?
He wasn't going to let him do it to him twice.
Here's the Pearl. JoJo White of the Boston Celtics pops out. Now it's Monroe backing in on Smith. And there's an elbow, says Earl Strom.
I got 20 hits.
And that's two quick fouls on Phil Smith. 105.97. 7:51. 3 for the game and 2 in a hurry by Phil Smith. The doctor spin comes up off iron, and Big Bob McAdoo with an offensive board. Somebody's got to block out. It's 105.99. It is 6 points. 7:30 for the ball game. Here's Smith facing the basket, cuts left. JoJo White was on him, and Phil put it in anyway.
That was just a great shot and great defense.
JoJo accelerated, cut off. McAdoo, shoots like a guard, rebounds like a center. But it's defense that's going to tell for Bob McAdoo. It is a 6-point game right now. West ahead and 7-10. Here's Kareem, knocked away on the double team. Julius goes back. No foul is called. David Thompson gets inside. 109-101. Lob for Julius, knocked away by Kareem.
It looked like you go long and I'll throw it as far as I can.
As Rick Barry checks back in, and Don Boozy of the Indiana Pacers. Bob Lanier will be coming back for the West shortly. So let's set the West now. Westphal and Boozy, Barry, Thompson, and Kareem on the floor. 6:45 to go. 8-point game, and offensive foul is called. He's coming back against Westphal.
You know what surprised me on that play is that Westphal was trying to post McGinnis down low. I imagine he didn't realize who he was playing against down low at that point.
As Kareem takes a break, Bob Lanier is out there. JoJo White. Now it's a 6-point West lead and 6:37. Dennis taking Barry. Lanier with a pick, and Barry comes firing. And Erving at the iron. Puts it on the floor. Thompson picks him up, gets past David, jumps inside. Lanier came over. Contact as Erving began his assault on the hoop.
Here we'll see Julius. Watch David Thompson reaching for the ball. That's a mistake right there, and Julius going to the hoop. Well, that looked like good position there by Rick.
Barry had anticipated that. He picks up the personal. Erving comes to the line. He's trailing by 6. You see Julius's total. 6-18. One of the differences in this style of play this year is the fact that they don't have a three-point play in the NBA. What a difference that makes for defenses. They can drop back and clog up the middle, and you don't see that sky move as often as you used to when he was with the New York Nets.
John Havlicek last night at the dinner said a few words. The one thing he said he'd like to see in basketball today is the three-point play, and I have to agree with him 100%.
Irving out on David Thompson. Here's Bob Lanier. The Detroit Pistons giving it back to Thompson. And Lanier with a fine pick. McAdoo on the switch. Forces a turnover now by the East defense. And here comes the doctor. House call.
Oh, my goodness. What do you do when the man comes at you that fashion?
2-point West lead. Lob pass to Lanier. And you see Julius hustle that time, even though Lanier got it. Take another look, folks. Enjoy it. It's vintage Julius Erving. Welcome to the NBA, the best in basketball on CBS.
You know, the big problem you have in those plays is the ball comes through and hits you in the head or in the foot. It hurts.
McAdoo, Barry battling him, and Bob just pulls it up and sinks it. 2-point lead by the West and 5:22. An all-star 5 minutes coming your way. Lanier gives it to Boozy. Ball movement to Westphal. Pull up. Maravich on defense. Now the East can tie it again. Rudy Tomjanovich of the Houston Rockets. Tom Nasilki doing a good job of coaching that team this year. Here's Doug Collins inside of the doctor. Bats it back. Collins regains it. Quick pass over to Rudy T. And on the turnover, Barry slides it to Boozy in the middle. Goes to Westphal. Left-handed dunk by the Phoenix Suns guard. Now it's a 4-point lead. East comes right back. Larry Brown yelling for his defense to get back. Off iron. Barry outlet now to Westphal. Thompson on the break. Collins got to go with him. Thompson will get it.
Oh, so much great talent out there. You just get so excited sitting here watching them. Here we see David Thompson going in, and I anticipated him to really dunk this ball here, but nice and easy. He's only 6'3 and a half.
4:25, 1:15, 109. Foul is called by Earl Strom, working this game because of the injury suffered by Richie Powers Friday night. Lanier assessed with that foul. 4:22, 4-team now against the West. Maravich gets inside and passes it back out to McAdoo. Here's Rudy T. Rolls up a hook that's off the mark. But there is the doctor. He has come on, hasn't he?
The doctor has gotten him back in this game.
Look at the doctor at the other end. How did he get back on the defense? Oh, and here is McAdoo. 115, 115.
Oh, the doctor has got them back in the game defensively as well as offensively.
2-point lead. Lanier slides in. Through the foul.
Here we'll see the doctor getting back on defense. Almost caught that ball with one hand. This is where I wouldn't be surprised Gene Shue will insert Elvin Hayes. Of course, McAdoo is playing so well, but strength-wise against Lanier, there's no comparison. And if they do keep going in low to Bob, he's such a fine offensive ball player. McAdoo will have no choice either to let him shoot it or foul.
West ahead by 5 on that free throw. See, as Maravich,
You got it, Bob.
could not reduce it. You could hear Barry say, "You got it, Lanier," and he did as he pulled out. Bounce pass now to Rick inside. Off of Collins, and ooh, he and Westphal collided. Paul really took a shot there on the chins. He okay? Bounced right back up. Collins and he collided. There it is again. You can see the elbow, the right elbow. Complete accident. 20-second injury timeout. Westphal bounced right back up. Didn't even take the mandatory aid. Larry Brown comes out.
Before we forget it, Brent, we ought to thank the people here in Milwaukee, how wonderful they were, and the hospitality. They really rolled out the red carpet to the players and everyone connected with CBS.
Oh, it's super, isn't it? All these great restaurants, Mater's, Sally's, the banquet last night. We had a terrific time. Barry now, back to Lanier, outside. There's that touch, the Detroit Pistons center. 120 to 113. 3:15 now for the game. Here's the doctor inside. Oh, give it to him and send him to the free throw line.
Great pass here by Maravich. Julius going up. I don't know how he made it. I don't think he knows either.
27 points for Dr. J. Julius Erving.
We have some ball game right here.
4-point West lead and 3:05. Westphal looks in on Collins and goes right to Berry. Lanier wants it. McAdoo fronted him, so Berry puts it down his eyes baseline. Wisely used the defensive man to get the ball back out of bounds. There is McAdoo, what we're talking about. See how he's battling Lanier? What's the pressure on McAdoo? Because of the injury to Collins. Short of centers on the East team. Rudy T gives it to Maravich. Oh, showtime to the doctor.
There's my MVP right there.
120, 118, and 240. Gene Chu up applauding this. From every angle conceivable, Julius Erving has put him down here in Milwaukee. 30 points for the game right now. We've got 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to play. McAdoo with 26 points, and Larry Brown of the Denver Nuggets goes into that huddle to talk to his team, leading now by a field goal. What does Larry like to do?
Now, keep shots going, but you have to be back. You have to be concentrating getting back. Offensively, the best thing you can do is make penetration. You put some pressure on the defense. Now, I will come up with the weak side. If David will go up to the screen on Paul, on the weak side, bring the ball to me, and you come up to the screen for me to go outside. If McAdoo steps up, I'll just shake my head, and you go right to the basket, and I can lob it to you. And if he does step there, and Thompson plays the face, I can drive it to him. I'm not trying to get a play from him.
Well, there's no question we're going to have to keep an eye on Rick Berry's head. That's going to be the key thing.
Larry Brown also played together. They played together in Oakland. Then they went on and played in Virginia.
In the lane, if you don't call a timeout, try to do that. Come up and set a screen for me to go inside. If McAdoo overplays you, I'll just stay like this.
Well, what they're going to do is run a pick and roll with Barry and Lanier. And the thing about Rick Barry in this type of play, he's the best in basketball at executing the pick and roll.
All right, they're setting up now. Lanier and McAdoo. McAdoo jumps out on him, so Berry springs free. They're fronting Lanier. McAdoo took it away. Berry comes in. Now the East coming back with a chance to tie it. Maravich collided with Westphal. Offense. Great position by Paul Westphal of the Phoenix Suns. With 2:22 to go, he has forced a key turnover. Now West comes back. Let's set their lineup for you. Bill Smith and Rick Berry of Golden State. David Thompson of Denver. Also got Bob Lanier of Detroit. Westphal. Good play at both ends by Westphal. It's a 4-point West lead. Now 2 minutes left for the game, and there's going to be another timeout. Gene Chu wants to talk to the East. McAdoo, Erving, Collins, Tomjanovich, and Maravich go over to talk to Gene and Jack McMahon, his assistant at Philadelphia. What does Gene like to do in the last 2 minutes? Is there any tendency on his part, Billy?
I would think right now he's going to go to Julius or McAdoo.
2-on-2 basketball. I'm going to flip the screen to have the ball here on the left side of the court. Okay, get it. Lanier, he's going to work off. No, I want you right here. Not I want you clearing. Smith on the left side. He's going to catch the ball, work off. Smith, 2-on-2. All right, now if Lanier, whatever he's going to do, whether he switches out or what, he might catch the ball to the basket. And then we have our full round to the right side and our guard so that if we have a chance, we might be able to turn the corner. Make sure the other side has changes so they can get in his line. Well, no, on the weak side. On the weak side, we're going to have to hold the inside clear. So now you'll be able to work off there. You'll be able to hold the ball, work off, pass the ball, whatever you want.
Hardly an exhibition. 2 minutes to go. 4 points. Fierce competitors. They go for the win now. They've been raised on that all their lives. So we see the West: Lanier, Thompson, Smith, Westphal and Berry, Tomjanovich, Maravich, Collins, McAdoo, and Julius Erving. Collins will inbound it. He'll set the play now. East trailing by 2 field goals. Slides off the pick, and Lanier went with him, and Lanier rebounded. Now the West can go up by 6.
McAdoo should have hit the offensive board on that play because he had Smith on him.
For Lanier, collision with Tomjanovich. You can hear the groan. Now Pistol Pete comes back. Pull-up jump shot. 2 points. 122-120 and 132 to go.
Pistol couldn't believe he missed that last jump shot, so he had to come back and make one for it.
Shot was short, and McAdoo controls the defensive board. Maravich quickly now to the doctor. Julius waits for Pete to set it up. 1:13 for the ball game. McAdoo, and there was contact. Lanier was outside on him. He was in the act of shooting. Now a chance to tie this all-star game up as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar replaces Bob Lanier for the West with 1:09 remaining.
Going back to the other end, all the pressure's on McAdoo. How does he play Kareem? Is he going to front him? Is he going to play behind him and force him to shoot the jump shot? He's got everything riding on his shoulders at this point.
McAdoo has tied it at the line, and now as Billy Cunningham points out, it's all pressure time for McAdoo as he goes down on Kareem. Forwards will help out. There's Tomjanovich over. Open man, Berry underneath. Julius is over there, no foul. Here comes McAdoo now. 3-on-2. McAdoo can't put these to head, and Smith was fouled on the loose ball.
Here's a defense, fine defensive play here. Rick was a little upset. He thought he got fouled on that play. Looked like good defense to me, though.
So at this point now, it'll be Phil Smith. He was fouled by the other number 20, Doug Collins, down there on the loose ball. In the penalty, 52 seconds to play. Still tied.
He rushed that shot.
Tie is broken. Timeout has been taken again. They set the strategy here. We can see part of the sellout crowd. There's somebody rooting for the Cleveland Cavaliers and also the New York Knicks. We take this annual All-Star break and take a look around the league. Some surprising performances have been turned in so far. I guess Portland and Los Angeles, 2 of the biggest, Billy.
Oh, sure. Portland's really had a struggle. They've had quite a few injuries. They've been able to keep their momentum going at all times. And that's a sign of a good ball club when you lose a key player like Walker for a while. Holland, several of their ball players. Now we'll listen to Gene and see what the play is. One of the options is to get the ball to McAdoo because the way he is shooting, he's so effective shooting the ball from the outside, and Jabbar will try and clog the lane as much as he possibly can. So we'll probably see the ball in the hands of either Maravich or Julius.
Julius, Billy, has scored 30 points and snared 12 rebounds. A strong candidate for most valuable player here in Milwaukee.
You know something? He's only scored 30 or more points one other time this season playing with Philadelphia.
Last year, he must have had how many games over 30 midway through the season? The All-Stars in the ABA last year played the Denver Nuggets and lost to Denver. 52 seconds, 123-122 now. The West leading by a point. Collision, and Smith goes down, back up. Maravich against Westphal. Slides, and Bobby Jones to the block. Battle for the loose ball. There he gets it off. Here's Westphal. There's 35 seconds. Slams it home. And it's 125-122. 3-point lead. East comes right back. McAdoo comes up. And a pushing foul is called. Oh, it was wide open right there.
Wow. Quite a bit of contact on that last play, series of plays.
Thompson checks back in. Rick Berry rubbing that left hip. He went down battling for that loose ball. East coach Gene Shue checking with Jack McMahon. Now 125-123, a field goal apart.
The reason Thompson came in for Jones at this point is they're going to the other end with 33 seconds to go, and they want a more effective offensive player in there.
West leading by that point, Billy. Timeout has been called by Larry Brown with 26 ticks of the clock left. And Larry Brown saying, I've waited 9 years to get to an NBA All-Star game, and here he is with a chance to be the winning coach. And the West, as you can see, Rick Berry may have bruised that left hip. Battled that loose ball. We'll be listening to Larry now.
You take it out, all right? Yeah. We got it right about down there. That's the room, too, Rick. We'll line up with David, Kareem, Paul, and Phil, all right? DT, you just go right over the top toward the goal. Kareem, you set a screen. Phil's popping this way, and Paul's popping this way. All right, Kareem, if we're having trouble, you just come step up. All we want to do is high. If I have to throw it high, so it's ready to jump up. All we want to do is get it in, all right? And Kareem's going to go down. And what I want, Rick, you just go to the forward spot, all right? Guards, we just bounce the court and go in through him. We want to take time off the clock. Now, the weak side forward, pound the board. Kareem, if they collapse, throw it out here, and one of them will win a 15-footer. Now, look, so everybody understands, you guys, if we do miss, you have to be back. You have to be aware of the 24-second clock. We don't want to go to it too fast. If we miss and get the ball back, we don't even have home. Yeah, that's right. If we miss, we pull it back. You guys, it's important you're back. David, you and Rick, spread it out. If there's any trouble, how many timeouts? One. We got one timeout.
That says it all. 30 points for McAdoo and Erving in this game, 20 for Westphal, 21 for Abdul-Jabbar, Berry and Thompson, 18 apiece, 17 for Lanier, 13 for Smith, 17 seconds on the shot clock, and 26 seconds for the game. Knocked away by McAdoo. East now with a chance to win it. Inside of 20 seconds, and Bob McAdoo with the key defensive play. And as we've said all game long, all that pressure has been on him.
Well, he came up with the key steal right there. That was a poor pass by Smith, though.
Now it'll be Gene Shue's turn to set up the play. In this situation?
Well, the last two plays that these two has run after timeouts has involved Maravich and McAdoo. McAdoo sitting the pick.
Larry talking defense to West.
Open man. Don't gamble in the gambling situation where you Earl.
Shue checking something with Earl.
All right. I think they got George here. The whole right side of the floor is open. Now you have to penetrate on the left, because that's the easiest way to get what we want out of it. So we want the ball down on the left side. I want, the right side of the floor is going to be clear. Okay, the right side of the floor is going to be clear. So as you work off the screen, you have the opportunity to penetrate, shoot the shot, or pass the ball. I want to find out what's going to do with the back court. We might have to go forward and get the ball. All right, so that's get a situation for it. We got a full pass. You have 9 seconds in the back. So we have no trouble. Hey, Errol, it's on the 24-second clock. No timeout left. No timeout left. All right, so we want the shot from one
Well, Gene Shue's philosophy is, well, it hasn't worked the last 2 times, so we're shooting for 33 1/3%. They're going, Maravich will run the play with McAdoo. It's coming off a pick set by McAdoo, and he has the option either to penetrate with the ball shoot the jump shot or hit McAdoo rolling to the basket.
16 ticks of the clock, and you heard Strom tell Shu 9 seconds to get it across, but no trouble, no pressure. Here's Maravich, slide inside of 10, right side is open, Westphal is there. Westphal, off now to Barrett. West is going to break the losing streak. Barry will run the clock out, it's over. 125 to 124. The West has done it. Paul Westphal at that end, battling Pistol Pete Maravich. The East could not get the shot away. All right, we are back now in Milwaukee for the presentation of the Most Valuable Player Award. If we can get the commissioner of the NBA, Larry O'Brien, over here. You can hear the crowd in the background. You want to make the announcement for us?
I sure do. This was a tough one. There are a lot of names on those ballots, but we have Dr. J, Julius Erving sitting here behind us, and we're ready to bring him out here.
All right, bring Dr. J. Julius Erving, come on over here. Many of the crowd here wanted Paul Westphal. Dr. J, nice job. Tremendous job.
We had almost as many names on ballots as there were ballots with the sports writers here today. I can tell you that. This was a tough one, an awfully difficult one. But we have the winner here, and he's a great one. Great Julius Erving, Dr. J.
Doctor, congratulations from all of us. Really some magnificent moments.
Thanks a lot, Brett.
All right.
Sorry that my winning Most Valuable Player was contrary to popular opinion here, but my approach to the game is just to go out and play as hard as I can. And this is something that I never won in an ABA All-Star game, so, you know, I'm really proud that I'm honored here today by winning this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Julius. You know, right now, we have got standing by over here on the side, I see another one of our fine commentators, Jack Whitaker, who is getting ready, and of course no better way for CBS to wind up a broadcast than to go over to Jack right now. So, Jack?
All right, thank you very much, Brent. Congratulations to Dr. J. As we approach this NBA All-Star game this year, the NBA as a league was rather looking still for that stability that middle age requires. It's been 27 years since the first All-Star game in the NBA, and that was yesterday when the sport was young. Those were the days when Mikan and Fultz and Shays were the names that kept it together. And the Lakers were still in Minneapolis, the Warriors in Philadelphia, and Rochester and Syracuse were towns we visited in the winter. But since then, this game has had an explosion. It has grown faster than a teenage child out of its clothes. It has grown up and out of high school gyms into the Spectrum and Forums, and from a tight-knit league into a four-conference community now with 22 teams that spans the nation. With all that growth, of course, there were some pains. The pains of expansion, of merger, of high salaries, of terrible traveling schedules and an overlong season. But the pain has brought the stability that this league has been elusively seeking for over 30 years. The merger has been an unqualified success, and at this 27th All-Star game, the NBA, it would appear, has decided not to be the Peter Pan of professional sports. Now, once again, here's Brent Musburger.
All right, Jack, thank you so much. As we see the most valuable player of this All-Star game accepting the trophy from Commissioner Larry O'Brien.